The rebrand is here.
In case y'all didn't figure that out from that 4-second long wordle, we're now Stacks. Went from the sports to Stacks. All new stuff around here. I kind of like it. The nice little blue color we got going here.
Flame. It's hot.
Flames. It's hot. There's, I'm pretty sure blue flame's hotter than like a yellow or an orange flame, right?
Yeah, it's the hottest flame.
We're hotter than your average fire. So, that's just how we roll around here. But we're back. It's now the Stacks Windup, and we're going to get ready to rock and roll here, showcasing some of the wonderful things on the Stacks app. It's new. It's improved. It's got all sorts of really cool little fun features and all sorts of really good stuff going on there, including a nice blue little flame. I'm having an awful time doing my Vanna White here because I'm like, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, Whoops. It's this way. Right here.
But I am Derek. You may know me from the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast, and I am joined by the one, the only, the Rumble. Robbie, how you doing today?
What's going on? Make sure that you guys share the content. I say that because if you share this content, then throughout our process of showing content on this piece of content, we can tell people to go to our app where they can interact and make more content. Did I say content enough? Share it. Do it now.
Wait, this whole thing's about content?
This whole thing's about content. A lot of
I might have missed that memo.
Sports stats content.
I like it. I like it a lot. So anyway, we're as you can tell, we're having a lot of fun here on a Wednesday afternoon and getting ready to talk about some sports, which is always a great time. And you know what? I know that y'all get geared up and wait. Like you cannot wait for the Wednesday Stacks Windup here coming at you every Wednesday in the afternoon. I know that y'all set your alarm clocks to it. It's on your calendar, circled, big red thing, all of that. Like I know that that's how this thing happens. It's okay. You don't. What I'm trying to tell you is you don't have to wait until Wednesday to get all of this flavor and all of this spice every single day. You can hop onto the Stacks app. You can find it in the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store. Download it today, Stacks app, and you can start joining the conversation. Robbie and I are always on there having lots of fun and having lots of engaging dialogue and a little bit of smack talking back and forth here and there as well. So it's always a blast, always a lot of fun. And this week there was no exception to it. And one of the questions that happened right after the old Super Bowl ran was, is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Famer? And guess what? We talked about it on Stacks. Let's go ahead and roll the video.
Is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Famer? I say no. No Pro Bowls, no MVPs, no All Pros. Never been in the discussion as one of the best quarterbacks in a year.
Yeah, Matt Stafford just won a Super Bowl. He's in the Hall of Fame.
I'm going to start off by saying Stafford has been to one Pro Bowl.
Quarterbacks are measured in Super Bowl victories.
Nope.
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame. His stats and his Super Bowl, and he's not done, are going to get him in.
Oh, Matthew Stafford's definitely first ballot Hall of Fame. Stop that narrative right now. No, he will be a Hall of Famer, but not first ballot.
He's a Pro Football Hall of Famer now. He's got his Super Bowl win. His stat sheet is incredible. So, yeah, Matt Stafford, Hall of Famer.
Yeah, we should call this the Eli Manning problem. Because if Eli Manning's in there, you got to put Matt Stafford in. I mean, how many people do you know would take Eli Manning over Matt Stafford?
Nobody. I don't. Giants fans, maybe. That's the only person I can think of that would honestly take Eli Manning over Matthew Stafford. But yeah, maybe that's just me. Anyway, great topic there, Robbie. What are your thoughts?
So, with this question, when it is posed, it gets a lot of overreaction, overhype, like in a way, if you will, because the human brain automatically. I like what Hoove did in his take, because the human brain naturally automatically goes first ballot Hall of Famer. We think, and that's where naturally you go. Saying that a person will be a Hall of Famer does not necessarily mean first ballot. I do believe that, let's say Stafford gets blown out by Big Joe Burr, all right, on that big Super Bowl Sunday. I think that there's a case that there could have been a case that could have been made for Stafford even still could have had maybe that Dan Fouts-ish type of career kind of, narrative going on. It's like, hey, you didn't win a ring, but doesn't mean that you didn't contribute to the game. When there's a lot of things that go into a player going into Hall of Fame. It's not all just rings, and football's a sport where the rings kind of don't hold as much weight in like a sport like in or an organization like the NBA, and to get into like the NBA Hall of Fame. Rings usually hold a little bit more weight in that conversation. There are tons and tons and tons and tons of amazing, amazing fucking football players that were world record holders in specific categories, just played on shit teams and never got a ring. But you can't deny their impact on the game. You're not going to deny Megatron's impact on the game, and he never had a ring. You're not going to bring up his impact on the game or his impact on the position at wide receiver and really try and throw out rings. It's like, well, he played for fucking Lions. Like, come on. So at Matthew Stafford's position, I think you kind of have like that Dan Fouts kind of narrative to it, where it's like, no, you didn't get a ring, but you're great. You're still great. You're still a legend in your own right.
I can see that, right? And so I can make the case both ways on this one. And this is one that we've debated a couple of different times on our show there. And so there's a couple of things that come to mind, right? Like, first of all, I don't know that at this point in time, in my mind, he is a Hall of Famer, right? Like, even though he just went out and got a Super Bowl, things like that. And here's why.
But his stat line is impeccable.
Correct. I will give you that. But keep in mind with the stat line, right? The NFL has gone through several changes, and Matthew Stafford's entire career has been very much in this career or this game change that has happened, where the game is far more pass friendly, far more pass friendly, not only heavy but friendly there as well. And nowadays quarterbacks get somebody gives them a slight breeze and there's a flag thrown on it.
Okay.
Same thing with receivers. Now, that being the case, right? Like, we have to judge him comparatively to his contemporaries, and his contemporaries he does well against. But like, I don't know that there's a single season that I would pick out and go, oh my gosh, Matthew Stafford was a top 5 quarterback in this year, much less over a group of years. And when I'm thinking Hall of Fame, I'm thinking elite.
But I'm also at the same time not about to sit back and go, so he never got that, and he's never going to get that nod. No one in their right mind is going to do that, because where did he play most of his career in most years? Detroit.
Right. No, I'm right there with you.
He was also in the Rodgers, Brady, Manning era that whole freaking time, and then you also had the electrifying, Michael Vicks out there, and then you had the Cam Newtons, and so like they were breeding in like this new mobile style of play. Can you name any other quarterback that has taken the Detroit Lions to the playoffs in recent memory outside of Matt Stafford?
Well,
that alone is Hall of Fame worthy.
Well, right. Like, just keep in mind though, outside of this past year, Matthew Stafford had been the quarterback of the Lions since what, 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. Yeah. I mean, he's been there for a long time, right? And the Lions have been horrendously bad as an organization for a long time, right? I'm not denying any of that. That's the case for why I wouldn't put him in the Hall of Fame, and why a Super Bowl victory doesn't get him in just off of that type of thing for me, because I don't necessarily consider Super Bowl victory, just like, right, if you're going to consider Super Bowl victories a quarterback stat and put that as part of the the qualifications to get in, then you also have to put QB wins on it as well. And if you're going to do that, Matthew Stafford falls well below that type of deal, right? Like,
that
those
argument
are
is only going to be pulled out by Brady fans, like that's and people that, and usually like your casuals, because of the amounts of generations that saw Brady's greatness and witnessed Brady's greatness. That's where the Super Bowl ring thing kind of comes into play. And even
now,
still, it's like he's on a different planet.
Right. I'm old enough to remember Dan Marino playing and seeing John Elway
Yeah.
back in the day. And so
Same.
I remember a lot of those guys and John Elway didn't get it until very late in his career, but
Very late.
yeah, there was no question that John Elway was a Hall of Fame quarterback. Same thing. There was no question that Dan Marino was a Hall of Fame quarterback as they got further along in their careers. Right. Like I just gave all of the arguments why I wouldn't put him in there. Now I'll flip the script here and play the voice against myself here and give the reason why I would also put him in. And it was one of those that one of my co-hosts last night brought up very interesting stat line comparisons there. And fun little game here for you. I'll give you a couple of guesses here. But if you were to take a guess as to whose career per game statistics Matt Stafford matches up against most comparably in the NFL. He's an active quarterback right now. Has a Super Bowl championship, and almost everybody you talk to would put him as a first ballot Hall of Famer, and some would put him in the qualifications as one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. Like I'll give you all of those types of things, and I'll give you 3 guesses to try and guess
And
which
he's active
quarterback
right now.
He's active right now. That may change any day, but he is active as of now.
Hey, Aaron.
It is Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yeah, I was to say, yeah.
And then they were in the same division. They competed against each other. But when you break it down
so
on
you have to always throw. Yeah, you're throwing that quarterback's pace essentially. Yeah.
Right. And when you look at it from that standpoint and you look at it on a per game basis, the stat lines are eerily similar to one another, right down to amount of interceptions thrown, amount of touchdowns thrown on a per game basis, amount of yards thrown on a per game basis, number of sacks taken on a per game basis. Like it is eerily similar. And from that standpoint, we never hear anybody say, oh yeah, Matthew Stafford is a slam dunk guaranteed Hall of Famer in the same air that they would qualify Aaron Rodgers as.
You're not gonna get that because a big piece it has to do with teams that were played for.
Right.
I think either my new microphone is being delivered right now or my new phone. One of the
you got that new showing up. Just like Stacks is new, Robbie's got that new showing up.
Yeah, I just heard the door knock and I was like, what the fuck? It's like it's 2:30. If you no one knocks on my door at 2:30.
Right. Amazon does.
Yeah. But yeah, continue. I'm sorry, bro. That just
so I mean that's you're good. I mean, that's just kind of one of those things that, right? Like we are so willing to just, rubber stamp some of these guys that are automatically Hall of Famers, but yet at the same time, we don't necessarily rubber stamp some of these other guys that whose stat lines are similar there. And so that's one of those for me. It's a tough one and one that I'm going to have to sit there and keep looking and seeing, over the final years of his career, what that ultimately looks like on whether or not I think that he'll ultimately get in or not. As of right now, I would say he's probably on the cusp of it for me. So it'll be interesting to see how that one ultimately looks and comes to play. But do you have any other thoughts on the Stafford Hall of Fame?
No. I don't think that it's one of those because of his narrative and his storyline. However you put it and however the Hall of Fame is going to look at it, it's one of those that it can go a multitude. I feel like of different ways. I could see where they make him a first ballot. I could see him maybe winning another ring underneath McVay, and that surely basically locking him in. You got to remember too, like a lot of these voting members, folks, a lot of them are media. Where's a lot of media reside? LA.
Yeah.
If he does good there, and if he keeps it, and if he keeps the roll on, and McVay keeps the roll on, I could see where he could be first ballot. I don't think that he's first ballot, but I do believe he is a he is a Hall of Famer, 100%.
Right. I think you'll probably see it get in because of the fact it's always tough to ultimately say no. A guy that finished top 10 statistical all time at the position doesn't get in, and he'll certainly be in there. But it's just one of those that there is and I love this. I love this conversation because of the fact that it showcases and highlights some of the different aspects that you can see on the Stacks app at any given point in time. But let's go ahead and, the NBA just had an all-star game there, and there was lots of different things to talk about there. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go right now into a Stacks conversation around the all-star activities and events. So let's go ahead and check this one out.
This ended up being by far one of the most lackluster slam dunk contests we've ever seen. Like, the crowd wasn't very involved. There wasn't a lot of high level dunks or anything. Obi topping it up, which I pretty much thought he would. Hopefully, I was hoping just somebody would challenge him, and it didn't really happen.
So here's the question: in order for it to be the worst slam dunk contest ever, do people have to watch it?
And I don't think it's the worst dunk contest ever.
Because that was my issue. Is I was so not intrigued by it, I didn't even watch.
Yeah, I saw Kareem walk out.
Well, it's definitely the most roasted on social media.
Dunk contest is cooked. It's been this way for a while now.
It was like a legacy thing, right? Having Dominique Wilkins and Michael Jordan going back and forth, and that was a marquee event.
All right. The dunk contest was straight up ass. All right. I come from the era of Vince Carter. Okay. Like I was seeing the craziest shit in dunk contests, bro. Like, you look at even some of the old school, Dominique Wilkins, Spud Webb highlights. Some of the greats that go through and win that contest.
Sure, I still remember D Brown flying through the air and dabbing before dabbing was a thing, and doing a dunk on that one. And I think LFG hit the nail on the head that this was a legacy point thing, right? Like, we just got done talking about Stafford and Hall of Fame and Super Bowl and how much that equates to and correlates to some of that. There was a lot of this that, in order to be considered one of the greats to ever play the game, you had to have competed and or won in the dunk competition, right? Like, that was one of the marquee events that you had to put the check next to on the box in order to get into that conversation. And you've seen several of the high profile guys opt out of it and not even compete.
Like the amount of superstars that don't get out there and dunk, and the dunk contest to me is what the Pro Bowl is become. It's like, you're not doing it because of injury risk. The only reason why marquee players aren't doing it is because of injury risk. That's it. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why we're not seeing Bron get out there, or old ass Bron now. That's the reason why we're not seeing, Giannis, who's freakishly tall. There's also that, like no one wants to see someone that's freakishly tall, like, get out there, dunk or anything like that.
We've seen that happen before. You remember Chris Anderson, the Birdman, several years ago there, and he was putting down some powerful dunks, doing it, and scored incredibly low. Like, it was one of those that, from a power dunk and sending shockwaves through the rim type of thing, like, he was doing some of the hardest dunks from that aspect in that competition and got scored incredibly low because of the fact that, it's, hey, you're like 7 feet tall. You should, and you can pretty much stick your arm up in the air and dunk. Like, you need that much air under your feet. Like, let's see something spectacular. And so it's one of those two that you almost get penalized for being a big guy playing in the dunk contest.
Exactly. I mean, so, there's that as well. I think the dunk contest could benefit from having big names involved. I think the NBA could maybe, say, hey, we'll give you an extra check. An abnormally bigger, medium-ish size check than what your normal game day checks would be, for you to come out here and put on a show for the fans. I feel like marquee players should want to put on the show for their fans. I don't know, like that's one of the things I respect about Dwight Howard. Like he would always hop in the dunk contest somehow, and like,
well, Blake Griffin also did it too. Yeah,
Blake Griffin would get out there and do it. Like I enjoy seeing big name players participate in those type of events because they're the players that were really buying their jerseys.
Right.
We're not. No one's. I'm not buying a Feeney Simmons jersey. Like we need Toppin, Kuminga, Edwards, and a bigger name in the dunk contest next year. They need to figure it out. They need to figure it out for damn sure.
Here's an idea, right? You have guys out there that are professional dunkers. Like that's all they do. They make their living off of being able to dunk, things like that. And so here's an idea, right? Like we see this all the time in the world of golf where you see pro-am type of things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an idea, right? Like you get some of these guys that are, big time dunkers in the league, and you invite in one or two of these professional dunker type of guys, and you see them do
the NBA dunker, yeah.
Yep, and you see that head-to-head type of thing because if nothing else, you're going to get entertainment out of that. You're going to get the dunks that get guys out of their seats doing the, all the faces, all the reactions, all of those things that you're just missing now. Like that, I remember a time when the NBA 3-point contest, they had to beg and plead and do everything that they could to get some of the bigger name stars and better shooters in the league to show up and compete in that every year. And the dunk contest, they didn't have to worry about it. It was like they had to start checking guys off and like, no, you can't show up. No, we're full. No, sorry. Yeah, the line to get into the club was already too long in those deals, and those have just reversed.
The 3-point contest is taking over. Thanks, Steph Curry.
Yeah.
It's all Steph's fault, honestly. It's became more of a shooting game, So yeah.
Well, I like it. You know what? You just hit the nail on the head for the next thing, right? Like Steph changing the game, talking about the 3-point steals. And so here we go. Let's go ahead and talk about some Steph MVP performance.
And today's cash game question is, Steph had an iconic performance last night in his way to an MVP, but what we want you to do today is rank it top 3. Give us your top 3 most iconic All-Star MVP performance.
Yes, best of all time. Best I've ever seen.
I'm going to put it second. First, I'm going to give Anthony Davis with his 52 points in 2017.
Nobody's ever seen this. Nobody's ever done this before. Best ever.
Third, I'm going with Michael Jordan when he dropped 42 back in the 1988 All-Star game.
I'd probably go with Rory's answer of AD just because that last fourth quarter with him making all those attempts really kind of turned me off.
Definitely a lot of great performances over the years.
So there have been a lot of great performances over the years. I was a little surprised nobody chimed in with the year that you saw both AI and Kobe go at it.
Yeah, I was about to say that's where that's literally you literally took the words right out of my thumb. So that one was just impeccable to me. Seeing AI and Kobe go at it.
Yeah, you saw Iverson make that crazy comeback where they were down big in the fourth quarter, went on a tear. You saw the two going back at it, a couple of legends just going at it. And yeah, like I can respect Anthony Davis's 52, but the problem is with the All-Star game, especially nowadays when you look at the over and unders and the over when a line on a basketball game, a professional basketball game, the over under on it is 324
points.
I thought that was pretty close to the line there. You know that you're not going to get any defense when it's all said and done.
No.
You used to get that a little bit, right? Because the All-Star game, while it still would get a little bit out of hand from scoring standpoints, and there wasn't as much defense, they'd still play a little bit, and those games would be 120 to 120 type of deal there.
But you still get some defense like here and there.
Yeah. But that really hasn't been the case. And when Anthony Davis is getting points, 52 points, and they're just lobbing it in there and he's laying it in and all of that, like I would put Steph's performance as one of the greatest all times when he says, hey, let me pull it from half court and drain this thing and I'm not even going to look.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's one of those that makes it, easily, top 3 greatest. My gosh, when you could just pull up from half court, where you just pull up from anywhere on the court and you just jack a shot like that and just drain it, like, oh my gosh, that to me is complete and total insanity. There's no better shooter. I I remember when Steph like really first started going on like that 3-point tear, and I was like, yo, this kid is like amazing. I was like, but growing up, Bird was better, you know. Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, I had still had, I couldn't let go of the old days.
Right.
Steph made it to where I was like, yep, he's better than Ray Allen. Yep, he's better than Reggie. Yep, he's better than Bird. Like, he's a better 3-point shooter than all of them.
Well, you remember back when Steph was coming up and getting out of college, right? Like that was one of those. I remember watching him in the March Madness tournaments, which, by the way, that's coming up. And also, by the way, we have some very amazing, fun things to talk about. Little tease, as they call that in the business, for a future episode here, and be sure you're checking out the socials. But I say all of that to say that it was amazing to watch him play in the March Madness, because he'd sit there and he'd do the same things that you would see him doing now in the league. And it was one of those that I remember having conversations with people back in the day, like, well, it's fine that he's doing all of this in college, but how does it translate to the pros? Because the game was very different even at that point.
Very different.
And it was one of those that Steph really kind of came through, and with that shooting prowess has also changed how the game is played yet again. And it's absolutely remarkable to see. So I'm going to say that his MVP performance, mark it up for greatest of all time. I'll give it that one to him.
Like you know how pissed off LeBron had to be after that game. Like man, I got a point guard that can just pull up and hit from anywhere, and I got to go back to Westbrook.
Yeah.
Just sad.
Right. So, although, you know, it is awesome. I did see HoovTube in the comments here, as well as Coach Craig. Both of those guys chiming in there. Appreciate you guys tuning in there. But HoovTube saying he's back. This one here is directed right here at you, HoovTube. The cash game today. You guys need to go download the app, check it out. It is about some reaction type of videos there. And HoovTube, I cannot wait until I witness your reaction video to the cash game today. So again, guys, this is one of those, if you don't have the Stacks app and have it downloaded and are checking it out, you are missing out. You need to get on there and do that. So HoovTube challenge has been laid, and I cannot wait until when I hop off of this stream here to watch your reaction video there, because I have a feeling it will be amazing. So, you know, some of the other things that we talk about, right, as far as getting reactions and seeing how things kind of play out and all of that is, rap. And the Super Bowl halftime really kind of led into this next conversation, right? You had some of the best artists in the hip hop space of all time taking the stage on the Super Bowl stage, including one of the best battle rappers of all time. And battle rapping is all about getting the reaction from the crowd, getting the reaction from your opponent. And there was a guy who looks, remarkably similar to yourself on the on the Stacks app, asking the question of battle rapping and sports. Let's go ahead and check this one out.
Our minds want to know, for all the hip hop heads out there, is battle rap considered just a skills-based competition, or would you say it's a sport within an art form? Let us know.
I would say it's definitely a sport.
Battle rapping is not a sport.
I think that the ability to come up with the right words at the right time
is not a sport.
And being able to rhyme it and make sure that actually makes sense.
Definitely not athletic endeavor in there, but very clever wordplay.
I don't know. I feel like within the art form, within the genre, it's a sport.
But it's not. It's an art.
It's not like a sport from like athleticism standpoint, but just the wordplay, the lyrical gymnastics.
It's a skill. It's a very neat art to be able to do. It's something very impressive. It's a talent.
No, it's not a sport. It's an art form.
A couple ones that I really enjoyed watching. Conceited is one of my favorites. Charlie Clips, Dumbfounded, Big K. Big K's in there, one of my favorites. I like Big K a lot. So yeah, check those guys out.
There's a lot of really good battle rappers out there. So this one, I like that our community isn't like super heavy hip hop heads, right? Because if you were to ask any battle rapper, if you were to ask Eminem, he's gonna tell you that it's a sport, and then he's gonna rap about how it's a sport. He's gonna be like, "Now you try." And you're gonna be, he's like, "Okay, I will say that it is not a sport, but it is a sport within that art form. To that culture, it is a sport. And it is one of the hardest things to do. It is to have your brain work in that manner, and to work in that manner that rapidly and off the top and on the spot to be able to, like you said, get the reaction and draw the crowd reaction. And then you're also sweating out there, like you are sweating freaking bullets. Battle rap gets intense, especially some of those dudes that Game Point was referring to. It is a sport within an art form. It is not a sport in the true essence of running, jumping, catching, throwing, yada 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 yada. But it is in its art form and its craft a sport. Like, it's absolutely battle rap at the expo. You don't want those problems. You don't want those problems. I hurt feelings. Little story. So, we used to hold battle raps in school. Obviously, growing up in DC, like here in the city, like inner city shit, like it's just normal, right? And I was actually like really good, like really good. My mom had found a shoebox underneath my bed one time, shoebox full of fucking money. And she's like, "What the hell is this? Like, where'd you get this? Like, what's going on?" And I was like, "Yo, like I've been battling kids in the hallways at school, and then I got in trouble once because they're like, you're being a disruption to classes that are going on." So like we would start, like Valley, like at lunch, like in the cafeteria, we had like this other like little like secret hallway we'd go to. Battle raps go down like the bathroom and shit. Like, like we thought we were in. I don't know why we thought we were like in 8 Mile or something, but even like before that movie had even came out, like it was just something like deeply rooted and deeply seated in like my culture growing up, like in the area that I'm from. So yeah, like you ask the right person, it's a sport. And if you try and tell them it's not, it might go from rapping to bapping, like for real. Like they might fight you over it. But it's very passionate. So yeah, gotta respect it.
Yeah, I mean it is unreal to watch people that are truly good at that, truly gifted at it, go about it and do that. And it is one of the it really is a pleasure to watch somebody that's gifted with it to be able to do it. That being said, though, I don't know that I can classify it as a sport simply because the definition of a sport and how sports are defined, in which there is athletic movement and athleticism associated with that. And some of the moves and some of the things that they put on there, maybe, but yeah, as far as that, I don't know that I could classify it as a sport more than I could classify, some other things that would be, without the athleticism, that would be a skill of wit, or or battle of wits, a battle of oratory, types of things. I don't know that I can classify it that way, but it is something that I wish I could do and I was better at. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, when you have a mind like someone like him, and I'll use a guy that is mainstream that has that. I'm sorry. I just got a message on my phone and distracted me. ADD sucks. When you have a guy like Eminem that tries so hard to rhyme the word orange and will go out of his way to do it, to make it happen, it's methodical. That's insane. That's fucking psychopathic, realistically. Like bro, like just accept it that word can't be rhymed with it. Nah, doesn't care.
Figure it out. We'll make it happen. I like it.
Exactly. But no, man. It's I think culturally, depending on where you're from and who you ask, is whether or not it's a sport. Right. I know some people, they'll be like, NASCAR ain't a sport. you know? And then
Right.
some people would be like, NASCAR is a sport. Like, you're dealing with G forces that are slamming you into the back of a seat. Like, you know, you have to, you know, I don't think that it's a sport, but hey, you know, to
Right.
each their own.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, Robbie, I think that's going to take us down to the end of it. Any final thoughts out there for the viewers and listeners?
Guys, get on Stacks. You can like use, and what's great about Stacks is I know we talk like a lot about sports, but you saw like I kind of, you know, took a sports twist with music. Get on there, talk about whatever you want. Yeah. Damn it. Excuse me. Download the app, share this content, subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. And yeah, we appreciate you guys. Download the app. Link is in the description. And yes, there are NASCAR drivers that have better lungs than basketball players. There are some people that have better lungs than both. A specific set of people.
All right. Well, on that note, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. So, like Robbie said, download the app. It's available on the App Store, the Google Play Store, stacks.io. Like, make sure that you're getting the app, getting it downloaded. And if nothing else, so that you can go and watch HoovTube's reaction to
who's like, don't say
it. But if nothing else, you can watch HoovTube's reaction to this tennis video that is up and going there. But guys, it's a bit of fun. It's been a pleasure. As always, thanks for tuning in. You can find us on the socials at Join Stacks App. He's Robbie. I'm Derek. Have a good one. Be safe.